Finally, it is time for the Super Bowl!
And we are live. Good evening, everybody. Good night, everybody. And welcome to Carving It Up Live special Super Bowl 60 reaction show. I'm Bryson Carver, as always. And we are live right now as the Seattle Seahawks are hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, the second in their history, in the history of their franchise. So, listen, this was pure domination from start to finish. Before I even get into anything, chime in the comment section, chime in the chat, like, share, comment, subscribe. We'd really, really appreciate it. If you're on the Carving Up YouTube channel, hit that big red subscribe button down there. It helps the channel grow exponentially. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. So, you can't start with anything other than that Seattle Seahawks defensive line. Just pure dominance. When you talk about guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Derek Hall, who was utterly sensational. A couple of sacks, a forced fumble in this game. It's on the board. I think he potentially wins MVP. They haven't announced MVP. My guess is it's probably Kenneth Walker, who we'll get to. But just, I didn't think it was possible, folks, for last year's performance by the by the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line against KC's offensive line to be replicated. I didn't think it was possible for Tampa Bay's defensive line performance, only rushing for the entire game, it felt like, against Kansas City back in 2021. Didn't think that could be duplicated. You basically saw that, except Seattle brought blitzes, except Seattle would bring Devon Witherspoon. They brought Eamon Warrior off blitzes all season long, but Mike McDonald says, you know what, we're going to throw the kitchen sink at Drake May. We don't think he can handle, pressure in the pocket. He didn't. He had 3 turnovers in this game, looks rattled the whole time. And it's a testament. We'll get to Sam Darnold because there's a lot to discuss with him. A lot of positive things, obviously. But Sam didn't play that great tonight. I think that's a fair assessment to make. Kudos to New England. I feel like they got a decent rush on Sam throughout the night. But to win this game when your quarterback plays C+, I'll give him a B- because he didn't turn the football over. You got to give him credit for that. But at the end of the day, this was a testament to Mike McDonald. This is a testament, by the way, to John Schneider. John Schneider, people are going to look at Darnold. They're going to look at Kenneth Walker, this defense, Mike McDonald, as they should. John Schneider put together the Legion of Boom team. He was able to bring in Marshawn Lynch, draft Russell Wilson, hire Pete Carroll, the whole bit. I believe he was there when they hired Pete Carroll. And now he builds a second championship team with a completely different group. There's not a single player on this team, that is, from that 2013 Seattle Seahawks team. And there you go. Kenneth Walker is your Super Bowl MVP. And I was waiting to tweet this. I was going to tweet it if they had not called the holding on that last touchdown that he almost had. But how amazing is it if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan? 11 years ago, everybody and their mama knew what happened. They should have run the ball with Marshawn Lynch, the one they threw a slant to Ricardo Lockett. How vindicating is it if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan that your running back wins Super Bowl MVP? Just unbelievable. Beast Mode should have won or would have had the stats to have won in 2020 or 2014. Got a few comments here. Patrick Brown. What's up, Patrick? My compadre at the grid. Congrats to the Seahawks and the 12s. Man, shout out to the 12s. Listen, I know Santa Clara is obviously a lot closer to Seattle than it is Foxborough. I get that. Much longer travel for Patriots fans. When Seattle got the ball first to start the game, right? Got the field goal in the opening possession. When Drake May and the Patriots, offense runs out in the field before their first play and you hear the crowd cheering, I'm like, are they cheering for Drake or oh no, that's Seahawks fans getting loud. It's like, this is kind of like a soft home game. Not quite Lumen Field, not quite 12th man in Seattle, Washington, but it had that type of feel. The 12s were fantastic in this game. My guy Barry Grant Jr., also my compadre at the Grid Network, he says, I'm so happy for the Seahawks and Sam Darnold. Teared up watching Sam be so damn humble. Listen, and Sam's being interviewed right now. How amazing is it? And how much of a testament? And it sounds cliche. It sounds like, oh, yeah, we hear this all the time over and over and over. Man, don't give up. If stuff doesn't go your way, if stuff is not going the way you think it should based on the work that you're putting in and you're not seeing the results right off the bat, maybe you change the approach, you don't change the goal. Sam Darnold never changed the goal. He did change the approach. Kyle Shanahan was on the NBC pregame show today. I thought he made a really smart point when they were talking about Sam Darnold turning it loose. And he said, the thing is, Sam Darnold turned it loose so much early in his career. Shanahan made a good point. Sam would keep both teams in the game, right? He makes some big plays down the field, but he also throw a bad interception, or he would fumble, or whatever the case may be. We saw that in the last 2 games of last year in Minnesota. In that game against Detroit in Week 18, against the Rams in the wild card round, he reined himself back in. I didn't think tonight was a matter of bad throws per se, or at least reckless throws per se, at least early in the game. That, later in the game, rather, that wasn't the case. I thought he looked a little rattled. It's a Super Bowl. We understand that. New England got a better rush than I thought they would get. To their credit, he missed JSN a couple times with deep throws, missed the guy I picked to be MVP before the game, Rashid Shaheed, a couple of times on deep balls, including late, which would have been the dagger before they did get the dagger. There were a couple that he missed, but ultimately the great part about Sam Darnold, can't tell him nothing now. I mean, if you want to say, hey, I wish he'd have been great in the Super Bowl. Well, guess what? They don't get here if he isn't phenomenal in the NFC Championship game against the Rams. They just don't. So this is a testament to perseverance. It's a testament to where you land as a talented player, particularly as a talented quarterback in this league, almost singularly dictates your success. Think about like Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas is a Hall of Fame left tackle. He wasted his whole career in Cleveland, right? But he was the best left tackle in the league, or arguably the best left tackle in the league when he was there. In that regard, it really didn't matter where Joe Thomas ended up. He's a left tackle. If you're a linebacker, if you're a quarterback, you need a smart scheme. You need the infrastructure around here, offensive line, defense. And if you're Sam Darnold, who ends up with the New York Jets, and it's a situation where bad ownership, bad coach, clueless offensive play calling, bad spending by the GM, they can't draft. Then you go to Carolina, and they're not exactly the most well-run operation in the world. It's a testament to him. Backs up Purdy for a year in San Francisco, wins 14. He didn't win. Oh, he won 11 games. The man won 14 games for the Minnesota Vikings. They said, you know what? We trust J.J. McCarthy more long-term. Well, the Vikings, what do they go? 8-9, 9-8, something like that. Seahawks are champions today. You can't say enough about Sam. You really can't. And now this monkey's off his back. Oh, Sam can't win the big game. Well, guess what? In about 5 months, he's going to be fitting himself for a ring. So, it means something. Patrick in the comments. Nike airing a commercial featuring Marshawn Lynch was icing on the cake. Mic drop. That was great. And to have Beast Mode be the guy, to show the Seattle Seahawks, celebratory commercial after they win. It's absolutely phenomenal. And Patrick bringing up a smart point too. 2018 quarterback class, Baker, I think he meant Baker Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson. Sam Darnold gets a Super Bowl ring before his counterparts. Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. That was a pretty strong quarterback draft in 2018, and it goes to show you that, and this isn't per se a defense of the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Joe Burrows of the world necessarily, but of all the American team sports, football's more of a team game than any of them. Think about teams like the Dallas Cowboys, for example, this season. Unbelievable offense, elite quarterback, 2 great weapons. They could run the football. That good play caller. They couldn't stop a high school team. Think about the Houston Texans. Man, best defense in football, and C.J. Stroud. We want to talk about seeing ghosts. C.J. Stroud was seeing ghosts throughout the playoffs against my Steelers and then against the New England Patriots in the divisional round. It's, at the end of the day, you got to have the complete team. And again, that's is the credit to John Schneider for putting the squad together the way that he did. And it's a testament to the squad. And so, when you look at the box score, Seattle, 8 sacks in this game? I think I counted. Was it 8 sacks? If I can find this on the box score. Oh, here we go. Seattle Seahawks had, this is 6 sacks. Interesting. I counted 8, but regardless, few forced turnovers. Again, just immediately, first drive of the game for New England, oh, that's going to be a problem. Their ability to protect Drake May. And then as time went on, they were fine protecting Drake May, but Drake made some bad decisions. Listen, you're down double digits, fourth quarter. You're trying to push the football down the field. He did have the 1 touchdown early in the fourth to Matt Collins to give them some sort of momentum, some sort of a chance, but just a domination every way, shape, and form. And And Patrick, Ghostbusters couldn't save Drake maybe. Was the shoulder still an issue? I don't think the shoulder was an issue. I think it was, listen, if you want to recap Drake May's postseason, and do we have, so we've got the graphic. This is from Friday's show, so we haven't updated this. Obviously, we'll be live on air tomorrow, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, as we always are. Do we have Drake May's numbers? Okay, so Drake May's numbers in the postseason coming in tonight. Like, yeah, he'd struggled. And the shoulder, to Patrick's point, had been a concern. He had been on the injury report for that very reason. Like, that's a fair thing to look at. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is this. That first game against the Chargers, a little jittery, a little off. It's his first playoff game. It's at home. It's the first home playoff game for the Patriots since the GOAT, got pushed out by Belichick. There's jitters there. That second game against Houston, A, you're playing the best defense of football. B, the weather was atrocious. And C, Drake had some bad plays and he had some amazing plays. The throw to Keyshawn Boutte was his best throw of the entire postseason. AFC title game against Denver, we all know what happened in the second half with the blizzard. But even in the first half, New England could do nothing offensively up until, Jarrett Stidham throws that pick or backwards pass. Yeah, I think it was a backwards pass to get New England scoring position. And then obviously this game, you see what Seattle did. And also too, and I know it's a regular season award, but I have a saying on the show. I mostly reserve it for the NBA, but I use it for the NFL as well sometimes, that so much about that award to me needs to be validated in the postseason. You need to show me you're the most valuable player. And you saw May against Seattle, and you saw Stafford against Seattle twice or three times, but the last two, Stafford I think he threw for 450 in that game in Week 16. He was the last guy to blame for that loss to the Seahawks that, who knows, the Rams won that game. Maybe they'd be the Super Bowl champions today. And looking back, Seahawks-Rams, I didn't want to say it because I wanted to give New England respect because of how great their defense had been this playoffs. But looking back, that NFC title game, that was a Super Bowl. I mean, it happens. Like, think about those Cowboys-Niners matchups in the 90s, right? Like, whoever won that game, I mean, the San Diego Chargers weren't beating Dallas. The 49ers weren't beating Buffalo. Like that, the best two teams aren't always the last two teams. And the AFC all season long, I mean, Mahomes and that Chiefs offensive line had a down year, and Mahomes got hurt, so that takes Kansas City out. The one seed is a Denver team that even before Bo Nix went down, we didn't totally trust. New England, young, a lot of experience that they can get off this, some scar tissue that they can be able to build moving forward. Let me see what New England's schedule, because again, and this, I don't know if we have the graphic. Let me pull this up again, because this is a live reaction show. So we don't have like any pre-taped graphics. If we have the Patriots schedule, if I can find this, I thought because I know I had one when I was talking about MVP. Let's see if we can find this. Because New England had not just the easiest schedule in the league, but literally one of the easiest schedules in NFL history. Here it is. So we're going to pull up this graphic. I had it, in my files. I'm going to go and pull this up here in terms of what, because it's not to discount New England's run, but you can't just say, oh, the schedule had nothing to do with it. Well, I mean, it did. I mean, we can just go and show you right here, like, easiest schedule since the merger. Now, by the way, there are some Super Bowl champion teams in there. 72 Dolphins famously went undefeated. The 99 Rams, Kurt Warner, greatest show on turf. Like, some of those teams, 79 Rams went to the Super Bowl. If I'm not mistaken, I think, did the 75 Vikings go to the Super Bowl? I think they did. 1970... No, I don't think the Colts went to the Super Bowl that year. Did they? No, that was the year that was the year they beat Dallas. So yeah, Colts, 1970. So it's not a disqualifying stat, but it is something to look at and say, that had something to do with it. Let me Google who New England's 2026 opponents will be. Because the thing is, too, and this is part of and see, by the way, Seattle's going to deal with this even more so because now they're the champions. Now everybody's looking at Seattle on their schedule next year and be like, oh, this is our measuring stick. We're playing the champs. Now you got that target on your back. Patriots 2026 opponents. So who do we got? Obviously, we know Jets, Bills, and Dolphins. So home games. So let's look at home. So yeah, Patriots, Dolphins, and Jets. Denver. That is at home, though. Vikings, Packers, Raiders, Steelers. So not a brutal home schedule. On the road, Oh, God. Road schedule's brutal. Listen to this, guys. So, Jets, Dolphins, Bills, obviously. Bears, Chargers, Chiefs, Lions, Jaguars, Seahawks. It's good news if you're a Bills fan. I'm going to make a bold prediction on the show. Patriots aren't going 14-3 next year. That is not happening. Not saying they're going to be bad or miss the playoffs, but that ain't happening. I imagine they'll address their offensive line. Got a comment from Patrick. Patriots fans have been through a lot the last 2 weeks. Belichick and Kraft not making the Hall of Fame, and then you'll Super Bowl tonight. And add to that, Patrick Brady, the greatest player in franchise and league history, saying he didn't have a dog in the fight. It's not great. But I think Patriots fans have had enough success in their lives. I think they'll be able to deal with it. But again, back to Seattle. Let's look at, again, we're doing this live on air because, again, these post-game reaction shows I do occasionally, not a ton of prep that goes into it. Let me find, I thought I saved this earlier in the day. The players that see, okay, here we go. This is from Schefter earlier today. So these are the 4 guys who Seattle landed through the Russell Wilson trade. Their left tackle, Charles Cross. How important are left tackles? Boye Mafe, outside linebacker, Devin Witherspoon, and Derek Hall. So their left tackle and 3 of the best, certainly 2 of the 4 or 5 best players in their defense, and then obviously Mafe as well. So you can't give John Schneider enough credit. There were Seahawks fans did not want to move off Russell Wilson. There were Seahawks fans that did not want him to move on from Pete Carroll. I remember talking about that in the show a couple of years ago. Like, gosh, I kind of didn't see that coming. Hey, you've got Geno and DK Metcalf and Locke, and you've got a solid defense, and Schneider's still there. And Schneider says, no, we're going to take a chance on the young phenom defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens named Mike McDonald, and 2 years later, they're champion. By the way, letting Geno Smith walk was a bit of a risk. How'd that pan out? So when we talk about the best GMs in this game, Howie Roseman in Philadelphia is fantastic. Brett Veach in Kansas City, Brad Holmes in Detroit, John Lynch with the 49ers. Man, if John Schneider's not in that category, John Schneider, 2-time champion with 2 completely different teams and coaching staffs. That's impressive. Got a comment, Patrick, who's a Cowboys fan. This is why he's saying this. I'm very happy for my guy, DeMarcus Lawrence. He got the last laugh. Leaving Dallas and winning a Super Bowl, his wife is a trooper. Dang right she is. 37 weeks pregnant and expecting her 6th kid. Yeah, she was in the stands, like, if she goes into labor, like she's gonna have to depart Levi Stadium. So yeah, kudos to her, and kudos to D-Law. Yeah, he was a staple on that Dallas defense for a long time. As far as I know, really, really good dude. Did a lot of good in the Dallas community. I'm sure the same could be said in Seattle. And again, when he signed there, I remember distinctly he was doing an interview. I think he was like in the Seahawks practice facility. This was during the offseason, of course. And he says, I love Dallas. I'll always love the Cowboys. But I'm not quoting him exactly, but this is the only place, or this is a place I can win over Dallas. Like, Dallas is not a franchise we know that cares about football first. Football's a sideshow. It's a reality show. And Patrick says, good point by here. History repeats itself as 2 DeMarcuses lead the Cowboys and win the Super Bowls. Yeah, DeMarcus Ware obviously won a championship with the Denver Broncos back in 2015 in that stadium, by the way, at Levi's, Super Bowl 50, 10 years ago against Carolina. Something about leaving dysfunctional franchises. Darnold leaves which Dallas has their faults. They're not Jets dysfunctional, okay? Or Browns dysfunctional. But Darnold leaves the Jets. Eventually it works out for him. Here's what I think is going to be, and I don't want to put a cold or a wet blanket on this for Seahawks fans, because they deserve to celebrate in every way, shape, and form. Shout out to my friend Kelsey. She's a big Seahawks fan. I know she was wearing her throwback Matt Hasselbeck jersey. She was telling me earlier, she was like, I want to make sure everybody knows, like, I'm not just a bandwagon. They've been my team. It's like the old, sort of faded navy blue Matt Hasselbeck jersey. She's like, I've been a real one from day one. So shout out to Kelsey and shout out to the 12s out there. But I will say this. What is going to be and I don't know if it happens this offseason, and depending on what happens in 2026, we're getting way down the road, but John Schneider's a GM. He's thinking about stuff like this. What do the contract negotiations look like with Sam Darnold? So he's on a 3-year deal, pays him on average about $33 million a year. On that salary, Seattle can continue to draft the way that they drafted. on the defensive side of the ball and be able to build that offensive line and be able to, just go out and sign a Cooper Kupp last offseason. Be able to keep Rashid Shaheed's a free agent. I mean, Seattle's got like Rashid Shaheed. I think Witherspoon's a free agent, right? I could be wrong. Let me see if I can find this Seahawks free agents, because Schefter reported this earlier today, and like there are some guys that are integral to this team. Let me pull this up. Free agents. What do we got? Okay. Oh, Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP's a free agent. Kenneth Walker's a free agent. Kenneth Walker, Reek Woolen, Boye Mafe, Rashid Shaheed, Kobe Bryant, Josh Jobe, Josh Jones, Darike Young, and Chaz Surratt. So like some really, really important players for that team. It's going to be massive. Seattle keeps them. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, talk more about Super Bowl 60. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Chime in the comment section. Chime in the chat. The whole bit. We'd appreciate that. We'll be back in just 1 minute here on this Carving Up Live Super Bowl reaction show. Be right back. Welcome back to Carving Up Live. Appreciate everybody for stopping by again on this Super Bowl post-game reaction show. Got a comment here by Patrick. JSN will likely be among the highest paid receivers. Oh, he will. That's somebody else too. Like, obviously JSN isn't a free agent, nor would Seattle let him. But, Sam, you want to keep JSN and Shaheed and Reek Woolen, Mafe. I mean, there's some important guys. He says JSN will likely be among the highest paid receivers. Offensive player of the year. Winning is contagious and keeping the core is crucial, but you can't play everyone top dollar. It's cap league. We understand that. Darnold's going to ask for a raise, and he should get a raise. The question is Seattle going to feel comfortable being like, okay, are we going to give you, Josh Allen money, Dak Prescott money, this feels weird to say, Tua money. Obviously Darnold's much better than Tua, but like that's an interesting question to have. And so, but all season long, I had been saying about the Seattle defense that they reminded me a lot of the Legion of Boom, just in terms of how fast they were to the football. You saw it tonight, not just the secondary. The secondary was phenomenal. Anytime you don't hear the defensive back's names called during the game, good thing. I mean, you didn't hear Christian Gonzalez's name called for the Patriots. That's good. Like JSN didn't go crazy. Maybe he would have if Darnold would have hit him or Shaheed on some deep balls, but Gonzalez played well tonight. You didn't hear Reek Woolen's name, Devin Witherspoon's name, at least on coverage plays. That's huge for this group. And so, but just how fast they are. That's why I love Demon Worry out of South Carolina last draft process. Now that Seattle got a steal by being able to get him in the draft. It's just a versatile guy. You can bring him on blitzes. He can play coverage. He's a special player. I just can't give enough credit. I know everyone's going to talk about Darnold, as they should. Kenneth Walker, as they should. McDonald, the defense. Someone had to put this team together. And what John Schneider did with this group is it cannot be overstated enough. Let's get some. Do they have the QBR out yet? Because QBR comes out a while after the game. It's probably too early for them to have that just yet. No, they do not. Okay, they have Drake May. Drake May had a 16 QBR. That feels pretty fair. QBR 0 to 100. He had 295 yards. Oof, gosh, that is the most. That is one of the more misleading, or not misleading because he got the yards, but that is the most empty calorie. And if you include rushing yards, he had over 300 all-purpose yards. That's wow. That's genuinely shocking. As little as I know, they moved it a little bit late. as much as the Patriots struggle, I mean, I looked at mid-third quarter, he had like 80 yards passing. So that is genuinely surprising me. Darnold, they do not have his QBR yet. He completed 50% of his throws, 200 yards, touchdown. Again, the big thing for Sam, didn't turn it over. And I said coming into this game, with these two defenses, with the way Drake May's been loose with the ball in the playoffs, Sam Darnold was loose with the ball in the regular season, this was a game that would come down to turnovers. It would come down to which quarterback can play cleaner football, and it was Darnold. He didn't screw up. I got some comments here by my man Grady Edwards, who's a Patriots fan. He says, this is on Instagram. Drake May has a long, promising career ahead of him. This game kind of reminded me of when Jared Goff played New England back in 2019. He just wasn't ready for the moment, but I knew he was going to have a good career ahead. He has. Just talking about Jared Goff. He also says, Josh McDaniel, great job as the OC this year. Didn't call a very creative game, was very bland. Finally, I should have went off with this. Congrats to the Seahawks. They were just better. There's no question. Like if you're a Pats fan, you lost to better teams like the Rams did, the Niners did. I mean, the Niners could attest this. Like Shanahan, to go back to, I thought Shanahan and Fred Warner, by the way, were fantastic on NBC in the pregame show. Both of them, Warner more soon because obviously he's a player, but if either of them at any point want to go to broadcasting, they're both quite good at it. But I loved, was it Chris Sims who was talking to Shanahan before the game? He's like, what's the keys to stopping this or to scoring the Seattle defense? He's like, I'm the wrong guy to ask. We didn't do anything against them this year. And it just goes to show you, Shanahan's one of the brilliant minds in the NFL. So is Josh McDaniels as an OC. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it whatsoever. So, like, when they couldn't protect, and Collinsworth was on this in the broadcast, when they couldn't protect Drake May when Seattle rushed 4, well, then when they bring blitz, it's over. Now he's in hell. There's no two ways about it. Comment from Patrick. 2026 NFL salary cap is $305 million, I believe. It's doable, but very difficult to write all those checks. If Sam wants to go for repeat, his contract needs to be very team-friendly. I'd wait a year on it. Based on my again, this is pure guess. I don't know Sam, don't know anybody who knows Sam. Just by my reading of it, especially the journey he's been on. He's never gotten a big contract on a bad team, but he's been on teams that have been dysfunctional, but also just couldn't put the talent around him. It's harder to, it's not impossible. Look what the Rams have done, but it's a capped league. It's hard to put the talent around a guy when he's taking up a big chunk of the salary cap, as Jerry Jones would say, a big piece of the pie. So there you go. But yeah, Josh McDaniels, to what Grady was saying, did a fantastic job this year. And he's the class example, not a very good head coach, A++ coordinator. And that's what you've got to feel good about if you're a Patriots fan moving forward. Again, I read off the schedule, the road schedule again. For those that maybe didn't catch it earlier, I'll read off the road schedule because the home one's not that bad for the Patriots. It's obviously, Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Broncos, Vikings, Packers, Raiders, Steelers. So not tough, but not murderer's row. It's the NFL. The road schedule's atrocious. By that, I mean brutal. So Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Chargers, Bears, Chiefs, Lions, Jaguars, Seahawks. That is if they can be able to get out of that 500, right at or slightly below 500, to take care of business at home, they'll be fine. And again, the scar tissue from this game, but what I was going to say is, if you got to feel good if you're a Patriots fan in the sense that your coaching staff's not going anywhere. We know how great of a coach Vrabel is, coach of the year. We know how great of an OC Josh McDaniels is. And I've said that New England has a very similar benefit that the Kansas City Chiefs do with their defensive coordinator. Steve Spagnuolo, horrible head coach, one of the best DCs in the business. Andy Reid's not losing him. He's not going anywhere. Josh McDaniels twice failed as a head coach with the Broncos, with the Raiders. He's an amazing OC. No one's interviewing to be his head coach. Their head coach. He's not going anywhere. So, like, as it pertains to the coaching staff, they're gonna be good for a time moving forward. Got a comment by Rodney Dale Jennings. This is an extremely tough league to win in. So, what do you think the Seahawks' chances of getting back there? So, listen, we know that in the 21st century, two teams have gone back-to-back, and those teams have been quarterbacked by, in my mind, the two greatest quarterbacks ever, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Patriots did it 03-04. Chiefs did it 22-23. Teams have gone back to the Super Bowl 2 straight years. The Patriots in 2016, 17, and 18. Obviously, the Chiefs went 3 straight. They lost the third one. The Seahawks themselves, we know famously, were a yard away from going back-to-back. So it's doable. again, it's a lot of it is going to be a matter, put his comment back up. A lot of it's going to be a matter of whether they're able to retain some of these free agents, like a Reek Woolen, like a Kenneth Walker. My guess is they definitely keep Walker. Are they willing to lose Reek Woolen and say, hey, we've got him in Warrior, we've got Devin Witherspoon, we feel like we can maybe hit some more home runs of a draft, which, again, what was Eamon Warrior? A late first-round pick. So John Schneider has a history at hitting those. And even some of those mid-round picks. I mean, if you look at the Legion of Boom, like a lot of these guys were not just like blue chippers out of college. Sherman was a third-round pick, and I think he was a receiver at Stanford. Bobby Wagner? I feel like Bobby Wagner might have been a mid-round pick. I don't know why. Because I know Bruce Irvin was a Seahawks pass rusher. I remember that 2012 draft well. Bobby Wagner, I feel like he was like a fourth-round pick. Russell Wilson was a third-round pick for the Seattle Seahawks. So, okay, Bobby was a second-round pick out of Utah State, 47th overall in 2012. But, like, we're talking about one of the best GMs in football. So, what talent, because they can't keep everybody, what talent they lose, they got a GM who could replenish it. They got a coach who can get the most out of the defense. Now, one thing, too, that we haven't mentioned yet, Clint Kubiak's gone. Clint Kubiak's going to the Vegas Raiders to coach Fernando Mendoza. So that's something that hurts Seattle. We know that is to me, I've said this many times on the show. You can win the defensive coach. The two Super Bowl coaches were defensive guys with, Vrabel and with Mike McDonald. The downside about having a defensive coach is that by and large, this is still an offensive league. And when it's about creativity. So when you lose that great offensive coordinator, now you're in a little bit of trouble. Whereas if you have a Sean McVay, you're fine. If you have a Ben Johnson, you're fine. Kyle Shanahan. Like, this is what I've been talking about with a while. Like, look at New England in some of those years without Josh McDaniels. They had Brady, but they didn't look quite as sharp. And so, like, Josh McDaniels is, or not McDaniels, Sean McVay has lost, like, what, 2-3 offensive coordinators? Doesn't matter. Some of that's he's got Stafford, obviously, but that factors in as well. Got some comments, looks like, from Grady. He says, I also feel good with the state of affairs in Buffalo. I won't be shocked if they fall off a cliff, though, and win 8 games. I don't think they will, though I think they'll be in the picture. But that's a team I won't be surprised if they fall off tremendously. I wouldn't be surprised about that either, Grady. I think just by virtue of having Josh Allen, it's hard to be bad, or mediocre, I should say. But as we saw with Kansas City this year, you don't have the pieces, you don't have the pieces. And Grady says, Sam Darnold, congrats to him. I'm not going to overreact and say he's like a top 3 or 5. No, he's definitely not top 3 or 5 quarterback in the league. But he's like the 9th or 10th best quarterback in the league. I'll buy that. To your point, Grady, and again, we've got some like leftover graphics from the show Friday, so might as well use some of them again. This is before coming into tonight's game. Here you go. Like, Sam Darnold since last year is a top 10 quarterback. That doesn't mean he's Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson, Burrow, Stafford, Drake May. But you cannot, especially now he's got a ring, you cannot name 10 quarterbacks better than him. 5th in touchdowns since 2024, 9th in completion, 7th in yards per game, pass yards per game rather, 7th in rating, and 1st in record. And obviously that record just got better. He's now 31-7, and that one is a Super Bowl. And again, I keep emphasizing this. We talk about the Seahawks defense, and they were sensational. They weren't 2 weeks ago against the Rams. And some of that is the greatness of Stafford and Puka and Devontae Adams and, what's my man's name? The running back for the, why am I forgetting the running back for the Rams? This is embarrassing. What's number 23? This is going to drive me crazy. I've hijacked the show because I can't remember the starting running back for the Los Angeles Rams, the best offense or one of the best offenses in football. Kyron Williams, that's who it was, Kyron Williams. That obviously had something to do with it, but Sam needed to outplay Stafford, and he did. And Stafford was great in that game. Tells you something. Tells you that the moment wasn't too big for Sam. Patrick, Rams, Seahawks, Niners, Bears will be among the top contenders. Eagles are in a free fall. Yeah, I do not like what's going on with Philly's offseason right now. NFC will be very tight in 2026. The pressure is on Baltimore, Buffalo, LA Chargers, and Denver Broncos to get it done. I don't know if it's quite on the Broncos the way it is with the other 3. With the Chargers, it's not, hey, win the Super Bowl. It's, can Justin Herbert win a playoff game? Can he play well in a playoff game at the very least? I mean, I think the number is, we did it on the show when they lost to New England. Justin Herbert has not led a touchdown drive in 29 of his last 30 drives in the playoffs, going back to that second half against Jacksonville back in 2022. Baltimore, 100% the pressure's on. Buffalo, pressure's definitely on. Pressure was on Buffalo this year, and they couldn't get it done. Grady in the comments. Let's have a laugh real quick. Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, all taken in the 2018 NFL Draft. Darnold is the only one with a ring. That's wild. It is, and it goes to show you, as I was saying earlier, so much of the sport is roster construction. We like to. I've been the guy who said since 2021 it's a quarterback's league. It is. If Sam Darnold gives you the production of Geno Smith, Seattle's former quarterback, then you're not in this game. At the same time, you do need the requisite pieces around him. It's that simple. That's why I defended Brady the way I did at the end of his time in New England. This is why, to me, a huge stain on Belichick's legacy. Bill Belichick looked at the roster in New England and said, you know what? The quarterback's the problem. It's like, not the receiving core with Gunnar Olszewski and old Julian Edelman, no Gronk, and Mohamed Sanu. Like, they're not the problem. And that offensive line, they're not the problem. And of course, we know what Tom did in Tampa Bay. So, it's a lot of it is what's around you. That's why I've defended Dak forever. That's why I defended Mahomes this year. That's why I've defended a lot of guys in the past. A lot of it is the pieces around you. If you do your part, if you do what you're supposed to do, and you still lose, I can't knock you. And I was honestly feeling that game, to be honest with you, in the first half with Drake May. Because Darnold wasn't necessarily playing that much better on the Seattle side, because I think all of May's turnovers came in the second half. But it's an element of, man, the second you're taking a snap, especially when Seattle's blitzing guys right in your face, what can you do? We saw Mahomes deal with this in Super Bowl 55 against Tampa. We saw Brady deal with it in Super Bowl 42 against the New York Giants, that Strahan, Justin Tuck team. Tough. And again, I think and Collinsworth was on this in the broadcast. The most difficult pressure to deal with as a quarterback, up the middle. Brady's the greatest quarterback ever. He was terrible when pressure came up the middle. Why? Because Tom is more of a pocket guy, but any quarterback, if you take the snap and someone's coming straight at you, it's not impossible to avoid it, but it definitely blows up the play. Pressure off the edge, you need to account for that a little bit. I mean, there were times where Seahawks players, again, they would throw the kitchen sink at him, some corner blitzes, but Drake didn't even see some of it. He would not even see him in war. He would not even see Devin Witherspoon. And again, year two, he's going to learn that as time goes on. He's only going to get smarter. He's only going to get better, more mature. Again, you have to look at it in perspective. Again, I'm sure this will be the case tomorrow, especially by the time we do the show at 6. But as we all know, and I say on the show all the time, the two biggest overreaction Mondays in the NFL all season long, the Monday after week 1. Why? Well, because it's been 7 months. We've been starved for football, and finally we get it. We just want to the most recent game we've seen. It's the only football game we've seen in 7 months. So we're just like, oh my God. And then the Monday after the Super Bowl, because it's just like the end of the movie. The end of the movie is the last thing we remember about the movie. This movie, Super Bowl 60, we remember this more recently than week 14. And so it's going to be all, Drake's overrated, and, the Patriots roster really isn't that good. It's going to be a lot of that. And there will be knocks on that Pats team that are completely justified and fair, no question about it, but they'll be fine in the long run. I have no doubts about that. Too well run. Patrick, the NFC West is by far a very combative division all season long. 1 to 2 games separated each who ended up playing postseason football. To that point, it's remarkable. We knew how great Seattle was. We know how excellent the Rams were. Think about San Francisco for a second. San Francisco, with the beat-up roster they had all season long. Folks, they were in a Week 18 game at home to get the 1 seed over Seattle. So to Patrick's point, that division was a murderer's row. And the Cardinals are the Cardinals, but San Francisco beats hell. They could have gotten the 1 seed, and they won a playoff game in Philly. The Rams kind of had to survive 2 games at Carolina and at the Bears, but got to the NFC title game, had the MVP of the league, great coach, McVay, weapons. So that's another team to watch in the offseason. We know the Rams are obviously a contender in 2026. Les Snead is somebody I don't think I mentioned when I was talking about the best GMs in the league. He's certainly in that class. I'm really curious to see how the Rams try and rebuild that defense, because it was a big problem for them at the end of the year. You can argue it's probably the reason they're not holding Lombardi Trophy right now. So it's NFC West can be a monster, going into next year. No question about it. And so just looking into, I'm just looking at, the standings from this season. AFC North, I have no freaking clue who wins yet. Probably Baltimore, just by virtue of having Lamar, new coach, all the, I kind of want Pittsburgh. I want my Steelers to be bad. I'll be honest with you, but with McCarthy, we probably won't be bad. I don't know. CJ's got to fix, or Houston's got to fix CJ before they can think about being contenders because that defense is insane. Jacksonville, I don't think Jacksonville goes 13-4 again. If they get Travis Hunter back next year, that'll be huge. And seeing Trevor's development, Trevor's an MVP finalist. Seeing Trevor's development in the second half of the season was great for me to see because I'm a big Trevor fan, and it was dope to watch. The Colts, Daniel Jones will see to his future. I like what Tennessee's got moving forward. Looks like we got some comments here on YouTube. Rodney Dell Jennings says, agreed. We've got this comment from Mr. Goat, 1996. The Patriots will be back next year and way better. Very well might be the case. Again, the thing that is going to be in the Patriots' way is two things. One, by virtue of being in this game, everybody's got a target and New England's back, just like Seattle. The Patriots took people off guard this year. Not going to be the case next year. And two, and I've read it multiple times now, but that schedule and that road schedule next season is about as tough as you could possibly ask for. Jacksonville, Kansas City, Detroit, obviously Buffalo, by virtue of being in the division. Who else was on there? Like the Bears. I mean, that's the Chargers. So winning the road is going to be tough. No, congratulations to the Seahawks for winning a Super Bowl as a Patriots fan. I will never respect the Seahawks as a Patriots fan. I mean, that's fine. No one's, no one's asking you to be, classy in defeat. That is what it is. Listen, I understand. I understand any fan base being mad about the game. I understand it. Seahawks should probably be 2-0 in Super Bowls against New England, but that's neither here nor there. Rodney Dell Jennings, absolutely 100% top 10. I don't know if he's referring to Darnold and his, ranking amongst the best quarterbacks. Grady says, I won't be surprised if this Seattle team is around for years to come or if they just completely never do anything again. They were just so out of nowhere. I know a little weird to say, but it's true. And some of that, this is geographic bias in this country. We tend to focus more on the either coastal teams or middle of the country. Coastal teams, we think about the Patriots. We think about the New York teams. We think about, teams, on the West Coast. We think about the Niners and the Rams and the Chargers. And in the middle of the country, we think Chicago, Dallas, Houston. We don't really talk much about the Jacksonville Jaguars. They won 13 games this year. So it's some of it is, Pacific Northwest. They're kind of in the middle of nowhere. They're next to Canada. They'll get plenty of national TV games next year. There's no doubt about it. But Grady says, I kind of think it'll be one of those two for them. Nothing in between. The Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. We saw it for Philly this year. Now, I think Phillies, and I think they're a very well-run franchise, but from Sirianni on down, you don't have the stability that you got with Mike McDonald. And that, I think even Eagles fans would agree with that. There's no question. And Mr. Goat says, Sam Darnold's still not a good quarterback. The only Super Bowl because of their defense. Again, I'll just let these numbers speak for you. Listen, the defense was obviously the reason they won the game, but A, Darnold played mistake-free football to his credit, and B, again, those are top 10 quarterback numbers. By the way, with two different teams. And Sam Darnold, we can throw this stat out again, is the second quarterback in the history of the NFL to win 14 games back-to-back seasons. By the way, only got to do with two different teams. The other guy, the greatest quarterback ever, Tom Brady. So that says something. And that's why the GM in Minnesota loses his job. Because, again, Darnold was bad in those last two games last year. We're not going to sugarcoat that. We don't let him hold the Lombardi Trophy distract you from, he was terrible against Detroit in Week 18. He was terrible against the Rams in the wild card round. At the same time, the man was in the MVP discussion. You thought you were going to be in quarterback purgatory when J.J. McCarthy goes down, and this guy throws, 35, 37 touchdowns, wins 14 games. You're doing something right. So, and I think Kevin O'Connell's a great coach, but it's only so much you can do with a limited quarterback like McCarthy. Sam's got flaws, but Sam's got upside. Sam's got arm strength. Sam's got mobility. big guy. You know, he can be able to take hits in the pockets, as we saw tonight, and bounce back up. Grady, would Tom Brady off the couch at 48 years old, would he have given me a better chance to win this game, in your opinion, than Drake may tonight? I think so, because of experience in the big game. You know what? Listen, I mean, a lot of people lost money betting against Tom Brady in their lives. At the same time, you know, Big Ben, and Ben isn't Brady, but Ben's a legend. He's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame next year. I saw Big Ben in an interview, and he was asked about, you know, hey, Phillip Rivers came off the couch and played a little bit for the Colts and had moments where he looked decent. And they said, could you do it? He said, heck no. They're like, you can't still sling it. He said, oh, I can sling it. I just can't move. and we know, listen, all love and respect to Big Ben. The comparison between Ben's off seasons and Tom's, it's night and day, obviously. As we all know, Tom took better care of his body as well as anybody. That's why he played as long as he did. But it is the movement. And Tom never got credit, in my mind, for it, because we look at, just kind of like a statue in the pocket, prototypical quarterback, 6'4". Tom was the best. He's the greatest quarterback ever at a lot of things. One of them is his ability to move and shift out of the pocket. Well, at being 48 years old, we even saw it a little bit in Tampa. He just didn't move the same he used to. If there was pressure, he'd just go down and take the sack. He just lived to play another day. And that was when he was going through NFL, off seasons and training camps. Like, you know, Drake, for all his inexperience, and we know he can't see the field the way that Tom Brady can. He can move. I mean, you saw it tonight. He had made some plays with his legs a little bit. But again, going back to something I was saying earlier with him, is a lot of this is going to be a learning experience for him, not just a sense of, hey, first Super Bowl and all that, but the element of the stuff on the field. You know, when pressure's coming up the middle, which did happen a couple of times tonight, there's really nothing you can do about it. Like, that's, you just got to try and throw the ball away, or if you get hit, just hold the ball and don't fumble. It was when the pressure came off the edge, and it's like he didn't see it. It's like, okay, that there needs to be a little bit of growth there. And he's 24 years old, year 2, he's going to get better. You know, Mahomes had a quote, I think after he won his first Super Bowl in 2019, where he's like, yeah, I didn't really learn how to or he said this a couple of years ago, I didn't really learn to read defenses until like my 3rd or 4th year in the league. It's like, holy crap, what was he doing before that? You know, Brett Favre famously didn't know what a nickel defense was till year, 10? So Drake May's got plenty of time. He's got a smart coaching staff. I'll tell you what, one big question mark for New England, I don't know what's going to happen with the Stephon Diggs situation. There's some off-field stuff. I think that process is going to start this week, I think. Chances he gets suspended next season. Diggs will be going, this will be his 12th, next year will be his 12th year in the league. So as good as he was this year, they feel like there'll be some decline from him. I don't know. So, but here's something else though. Diggs probably won't be the number 1 receiver on the Patriots anyway next year. They're probably going to go get A.J. Brown. So that'd be huge. Now, is A.J. going to be as hard on Drake May as he was Jalen Hurts? Only time will tell. But listen, nothing but love and credit to the Seattle Seahawks, folks. They earned it. They were the better team. And let's be honest, they're the best team in the NFL all season long. They had the best record. They won the toughest division in football. They beat, looking back now, the 2nd best team in the league, the Los Angeles Rams, in the NFC title game to get to this point. And the matchups in so many different facets of this game favored Seattle, better special teams group. You know, Jason Myers. Let's give Jason Myers love, by the way. Jason Myers accounted for 17 of the Seahawks' points in this game. 5 field goals, 2 extra points. Jason Myers, there were folks half jokingly suggesting, is he going to be the MVP of this game? You give major kudos and credit, to him and to the Seattle Seahawks team. The Allen family, Mike McDonald, John Schneider, Sam Darnold, the defense, Kenneth Walker. Again, the beauty, if you're a Seahawks fan, how beautiful is it that in the Super Bowl rematch, Patriots Seahawks, guess who wins MVP? The running back. Only fitting. So congratulations to the Seahawks. What a strange NFL season this was in so many respects that we will touch on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's episode of Carving Up Live will be on at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific time right here. Same platforms you're watching right now. So we'll be on YouTube, on Carving It Up, and on the Grid Network. We'll be on Facebook. We'll be on Twitch, X, Instagram, any and everywhere that you get your favorite podcast, and anywhere you watch your show. You watch your favorite podcast, YouTube, all those other platforms. Check us out tomorrow, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Before we get out of here, also check out our Carving It Up merchandise. Scan that QR code on the top left of your screen. We've got, I'm wearing a hoodie right now, Carving Up hoodie. We got hoodies, t-shirts, hats. We got water bottles. We got bags. We got, man, jogging pants, jogging shorts. You're going to need those jogging pants right now. It's cold as you know what out there. You got teddy bears, anything you can possibly. We got beach towels, anything you could possibly imagine. Any merch related to Carving Up. Scan that QR code right there, and it'll take you to the website. You could check out also our other content creators on the Grid Network, such as guys like Barry Grant Jr. with the All Even podcast. Talk about Saturday morning tailgates. You got what else? We got a new basketball show on the Grid. Pull in the chair. Is it Pull in the Chair? I think is what it is. Boys in the Zone, Cowboys Cam Fan, Mike and Josh. Great shows on the Grid Network. Check out all those guys that do a fantastic job at the Grid. Check out their merch. And if you just want straight Grid Network merch, we got that too. Grid hats, Grid t-shirts, hoodies, the whole bit. So we'd appreciate it. Also, before we get out, last thing I want to say. Salute my man, Bad Bunny. Friggin' crushed it. I mean, start to finish was absolutely outstanding. We'll talk more about every year we talk about the Super Bowl halftime show on Carving It Up. We'll give some more insight tomorrow. I thought he was fantastic, and I thought the unifying message throughout was beautiful and was very needed in the times that we're living in today. So shout out to Bad Bunny and to everybody who performed the halftime show. And congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl 60 champions. John Schneider, the Allen family, Kenneth Walker, Sam Darnold, Mike McDonald, not the Legion of Boom 2.0 as I've suggested, but the dark side defense, the Star Wars reference. Of course, I appreciate that. Jackson Smith and Jigma, my twin Cooper Kupp, who's now two-time Super Bowl champion. And, of course, to the 12s out there, the 12th man, one of the best fan bases in all the National Football League and in all of sports. Congrats to that team. Congrats to everybody out there. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to the show. We'll be back again tomorrow, 6 Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, X, and on Instagram. Hope everybody has a great evening. Stay safe out there. God bless y'all, and peace out. And again, I say it again. What a weird NFL season, but congrats to the Hawks, for real. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.